I feel like a little boy now. You gave such an adult, thought out, deep answer. My number 5 superpower I want to talk to animals. All right, and here we go. We are rolling. It is time for another episode of Cash's Top 5. It is the first episode of the new season. I don't really do seasons, but we're in a new place. We took a little holiday break, but we are back here in 2022 for a fun episode. Joining me today, I cannot believe we are not married. The love of my life out on the West Coast, Brittany Oliver. How are you?
Good. So thank you for having me. I've been waiting forever.
Well, we wanted to make sure we had the right topic. You know, we had kind of gone back and forth with some things. We want to make sure we were relatable. You and I would say we're both pretty complex creatures. We've got layers to us, lots of different interests. And I think we stumbled upon one that you picked that I really love. What are we ranking today?
Top 5 superpowers. Okay.
Which the more I thought about it, the harder it got, because there are, endless superpowers. There's obviously the kind of the mainstays, like, flight and invisibility, the ones that everybody comes up with. But when you kind of do a Google search of the different powers that superheroes have and things you can kind of just make up and say that it's a superpower, kind of tough to pare it down to 5 and then rank them 5 through 1, no?
Yes and no. It depends on how tedious you get. But I also think that a lot of our favorites are probably going to be based off of the characters that we enjoy the most.
That's
and so
true.
I think there was only, like, my favorite super is Iron Man, but I didn't pick anything like that. And so that was the only one that really didn't align.
Okay, so no like physics or mechanics or anything like that. You want to stay out of the lab?
Yes, I'm already in school too long.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope I avoid being tedious for you. Hopefully this is fun. We're ranking our top 5 superpowers that we would want to have. So let's go ahead and start it. Number 5, BO. What you got?
Time travel. 100% time travel.
Okay, I have a lot to say about this. So why do you pick time travel?
Because I think it gives you the opportunity not to just play God, but also to, I think it's a morality type power of, could I change the things that I would want to change? Or if I had the ability to do something different, what would it look like? And I think we all play that out as humans. And like, as a clinician, as a therapist, I can't tell you how many times like I in my life or my clients have just been like, I wish I could have a do-over. Or skip through the next month, year of my life. I just feel like it would just be an extraordinarily powerful ego experience, because you can do so much and you can change so much. And it can also be a fun reality check, because maybe the grass isn't greener in a lot of other different scenarios.
Yeah, it's a chance to really wipe off those rose-colored lenses that you think it was so great, and you're like, oh wait, no, this is kind of just the same. Now let me ask you this, because when I think of time travel as being a superpower, is this you get to go back and relive your life at a certain checkpoint, or do you go back and observe, and so you and your past self are coexisting at the same time? Like, how?
Well, I think it depends on what your beliefs for the multiverse. And then I also would say it, like, if I'm Doctor Strange, I'm able to experience something simultaneously and correct it or change it. But I think that it would be me being able to create a new storyline while the other storylines exist simultaneously. But I am on a new storyline.
Oh my God. See, that's where I kind of stay away from it, because I'm like, I couldn't even pass pre-cal in high school. How am I going to be able to create these different timelines and keep them straight? I just don't think I could.
Yeah, but fan of like Rick and Morty, like, I don't know. I just, at the end of the day, if these other versions of you exist, They can just coexist. And then and maybe I find out that this other life that I thought I wanted was wrong, then I could just, kill off the other version of Brittany and then live that one again.
Oh, wow. This is
No
your number 5. You've got 4 more past this. I cannot wait to hear what you have in addition. Like, you're already, like, these are God powers. It's insane. Okay.
We're all
Yeah. So we have time travel at number 5. My number 5 for you, I feel like a little boy now. You gave such an adult, thought out, deep answer. My number 5 superpower I want to talk to animals. Because like Aquaman I think he can only talk to sea creatures, but either way, like I would want to know, I would want to be able to communicate with animals. Ant-Man could talk to ants, Aquaman to fish, but I could kind of tell them what to do. I'm sure if you could hear animals' thoughts, there's just a lot of dumb stuff. Animals don't have human, they don't have the upper level brain, but to be able to communicate with them, to be able to kind of control them, to have them do my bidding, I could have pet tigers and lions and have bears that I get to hang out with. Like, I'm all about that. That would be so much fun.
Okay, I have a question. Oh, so I do feel like they would be very resourceful in the sense of you can have like a cat or a bird do your bidding, but in a situation in which you have to fight, then what?
Who am I fighting against?
Yeah.
Am I fighting one of you in the multiverse? Because
you're fighting one of me.
Well, I would need somebody who can jump really high and can run really fast. Somebody that can block a volleyball like you can. I don't know. Like, it was the other thing when I approached this list of superpowers is I'm not a superhero with these superpowers. I just get these awesome powers as just the normal everyday guy that I am. So with that in mind, I don't know that I would be battling any Thanoses or arch villains like Joker or whatever. But I think it would go pretty well if I can control every animal. Then I can also control the superheroes that are also animals, and all the bad animals, like a werewolf. I could control werewolves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd be all right if I were in a fight with something crazy. If I had control of all the creatures on Earth, I would be fine.
But I think it also depends on your geographical location, because I'm assuming if you live in Africa, you would be much better off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where for sure. I mean, I'm trying to think of the worst place to be other than like New York City. Like, if you're in a really urban scape, being able to control like sewer rats doesn't do me very well. But being in Africa on the plain, and I can control rhinoceros and zebras and lions and wild boars and all that, like me in Wakanda, being able to control animals, it's game over. You have no shot. I don't care what you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, talking to animals is my number 5. What do you got at number 4?
Telekinesis.
Okay. Why?
I just think it would be useful. not super profound.
All right, let's move on.
But I just like to, throw stuff and not have to lift a finger. Who wouldn't?
Now, is this telekinesis similar to like Matilda, or is it more like a Harry Potter where you can kind of wave a wand and do some magic? Or is it just straight up telekinetic? I can just move stuff with my mind and that's it.
Just move stuff, because if you don't have the wand, because I'm thinking about, with Harry and even with Doctor Strange, if you don't have these instruments, you're not useless, but you're not as helpful. And so you be like Wanda, if I could.
Now, how strong is your telekinesis? Like, could you move planets?
Oh God, no. But I think who wants to do that?
I don't know.
Going back to your original points, like, am I just a regular person who just woke up like this? Or am I somebody who actually is going to like be a participant in trying to help others? If I'm a participant, then I would want it to be massive. But I mean, not planet moving. Maybe I think the most I should be able to throw is probably like the Empire State Building. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I don't know why you want to cap it. Like, why wouldn't you want to be able to move a planet or a moon if you wanted to?
I think that would, but how would you affect the planet? I'm worried about the people on the planet.
So here's my thought. Like the Earth becomes overpopulated, right? And we have been able to create sustainable life on Mars and
Sure.
livability on Mars. So you just kind of rein in Mars real close so that people can take a little American Airlines flight to Mars and then put it back so that it doesn't create any kind of destruction to the solar system, but you've made it much more easier for flight there and back.
I am not a scientist, but my brain is like trying to figure out the mechanics of being able to have Mars closer to our planet without somehow having tsunamis.
We're talking superpowers here. This is comic book stuff. Don't worry about physics and mechanics and no, don't worry about that.
I don't know. I just don't want to. Maybe I'm not shooting my shot. Maybe I'm not like asking for enough. But I think that it would be just the utility of it would just, if I'm protecting people, that would be the most helpful, is to not go too big.
That's fair. And I feel like it also protects you from being corrupted down the line. Like if you were truly unbounded with telekinetic powers, you could become evil with your own thirst for power. By capping yourself, it kind of creates a checks and balances system against your power, which is, I think, is good.
Well, I don't even think corrupted. I think some people can be misguided. Or even like anti-hero. Like even if I believe, so say in that exact situation, the Earth is overpopulated. If I get to make that call, I get to decide what's best. And this is why Civil War came out. People had their own opinions, and so I think that would be just too much power.
All right, I agree. My number 4 for you is more along those same lines, although I don't know that I would cap it with any kind of limit. My number 4 is super strength. I want to be, you roll your eyes all you want. I went back and forth on this one, but there's no way I cannot have it. Super strength would be awesome. I could just lift cars and I could throw a football a mile and do just fun stuff.
What do you need it for?
What do you need telekinesis for?
I feel like at least I can do stuff. At least I can like cook dinner with being super strong. You're just strong.
Okay. So with my super strength, I would gold medal in every Olympic event. I would sell those medals on eBay. I would become rich. I would be, I mean, there's no limit to what I would do. I would help people out. You know, if somebody needs help lifting something, I would, that's what I would do with my super strength. I would lift things.
Self-serving things as well as moderately things sometimes. I have another question, or a question. Can you see me?
Yes.
Sorry, there was a phone call that came in. So what size are you then, if you have super strength? Like, what's your physique?
So I get to just choose what I look like? Then Chris Hemsworth. I mean, I'd be Thor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look like this. If I can change what I'm like, yeah, I'll stud it up a bit. I'll become Thor. Like, but it would be really funny if I just was this dude and I could just lift cars and stuff. Like that would be really fun.
Just ask because I'm thinking of the different body types, like Hulk, who's massive, and you can tell that he has some super strength versus some of the other smaller characters who are still very strong.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to be Hulk size. Like I feel like he can't wipe. Like he's just so like like barrel. Like that's not like Thor is a good. He's just ripped and just a huge dude. Like he's not like bodybuilder.
Yes.
He's just ripped on a larger frame. So like yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Can you turn it on and off? Or are you always strong? So I'm thinking about things that you have to be dainty during the
Like
day.
that's a good question.
Like if you're playing pool, if you're having sex, if you're I don't know. If you are you at the game tailgating and you high five somebody through the stadium? Like what's happening?
I won't say that I can turn it off and on. Well, I think it's one and the same thing. I have complete control over it.
Right.
Like I can give a me version high five, and also be able to lift a tractor up. Like I can control it. So I guess to answer your question, yes, I can turn it off and on.
Gotcha.
But I don't really need to like summon any inner strength to do it or flip a switch. Like I can just kind of control it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Time travel, telekinesis. You poo-pooed my super strength one. So I'm curious to see what we have at number 3. What you got?
Teleportation.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Why?
Convenience.
Mhm.
And it's one of the best defenses because I can literally just get away from it. I can escape it. And so I think it's both something that protects you and then something that is a utility kind of super or a superpower. So I think because it does a lot of good things, it's higher up there.
Now let me ask you, is this teleportation you can go anywhere in the world or can you only go to places you've been?
Anywhere in the universe.
Anywhere in the universe. And can you see what's happening in the point that you're about to warp to? Or do you warp there and hope that it's not on fire or something?
There and hope for the best.
I like that you're giving yourself limitations. Like you're not like you're flirting with omniscience, but you're not quite. You're like, no, I want to keep it tethered a little bit. So you can teleport, but you can't see where you're going, that kind of thing.
Like it's going to be very rare to have an argument saying, yeah, I can pierce, not only can I pierce into the future, but I can also get there and always be set up to have the best case scenario in my life. Mm-hmm. And if you always had best case scenario, and this is probably a more philosophical question, then what's the point of like growing and having excitement and those types of things? Because you would always know what's coming next. I always know what India, I always know what future is in this space. Like it's, I don't know. You just hope for the best. I feel like that's more exciting and more interesting.
Right. So you would teleport in an astronaut suit to go to other planets. Because there's no way you don't go to other planets, right?
Oh yeah, heck yeah, I go to other planets.
But you can't just pop over to Venus and all of a sudden you just shrivel up because you weren't protected. Like you have to know.
Yes. Yeah. I think that makes the most sense. You're getting way more details than I need about. I just think about like how many times I'm miserable at the grocery store, like, oh, that drive or a long volleyball tournament that would just be so much easier just to be home.
That's fair. It's also interesting too, because you're in California now. And when you lived in Indianapolis, going from one side of town to the other is like, you're always 20 minutes away, kind of. Yeah. Whereas like, if I were to visit you in California and I'm like, hey, I'm in this city, you're like, cool, that's 2 hours away.
And 2 hours away plus traffic. So
yeah, you're in the same county, but it's going to take 2 hours to get there. Like, yeah, that is a big tick in the teleportation column.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if that's too like kind of motivated by my, because I've been such a transient person my whole life. And so that would make connecting with other people so much easier because I am so far away. That was very, very loving, but Truly, I wonder if I were in indie my whole life, if I would care, if I had the same top vibe.
Yeah, that, I mean, you would have a different worldview. You know, you'd have different experiences in which to draw from. I've got talking to animals. I've got super strength. I sound like an 8-year-old. My number 3 superpower for you is I would want encyclopedic knowledge. I would want to just know everything.
And how does, besides medical issues, how does that help you?
Trivia tournaments, like.
Well, that would be really cool for like end of the world type stuff. Like if you have to survive, because like you would know how to fix cars and know food is poisonous, or berries and stuff are poisonous, or snake bites, or what you can. Yeah, doomsday, that'd be good. Do you have to read it, or you just know?
I just know it. Or it could be I just have a photographic memory, so I never forget anything I read. So it's on me to read as much as possible, and I never forget it.
In different languages?
That's really good.
Thanks. It's like I've been on a podcast.
I smell a series. We're gonna have you back. Do you think that's too much? I feel like that's too much if I'm able to just know every language.
I don't think it's too much, because I guess with the thing that would be the hiccup is if you have to read everything to know it, then that would be the problem, because that means that you would be very well versed in the language or languages that you know. But then if you flew to a different country, then all of a sudden you're like SOL, like that's not very. But I was like, yeah, might just need to be just know everything.
I would want to know languages. I don't know if I would need to know all of them, but I would want to know like if you limited me to like 10 languages, like, yeah, for sure. I would pick, I would be selective on where I went. What languages cover the most countries, that kind of thing. What languages are super similar? Like, do I need to learn Portuguese? If I know Spanish, I know they're similar, but they're different. But yeah, no, I would want to be able to just know everything. I mean, my life would be brain game. Like if you had any question, if you were like, hey, who was in that movie? You're like, oh, that was, Timothy Oliphant. That was 2002. Like I would want to just know that stuff. Like that would be right up my alley.
Intergalactically, or just in this world? Just
this world. Yeah. I don't need to know pH levels on Mercury. I don't need to know. No.
Okay. It's like, so if the alien race comes and you're like, sorry, I just know a lot about this place.
Yeah, if an alien race comes, then we're back to the animals. Like they will protect me while I have my Trivial Pursuit board with me. they'll protect me. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. All
Love
right.
it.
We're getting towards the top. It's our final 2. You kind of last minute ranked these, so I'm curious to see just how important 1 and 2 are to you. So what do we have at number 2?
Healing powers. Or regeneration.
Big question here. Is this you can only heal yourself or you can only heal others? Because I don't want you to be able to do both.
Heal myself.
Okay. Well, a lot of your other powers you selected in the service of others, like you had that in mind. You didn't have self-service in mind, whereas this one is definitely, it's self-service, but it also is practical, Imagine if you had to heal everybody all the time. Like, unless you were able to just snap your fingers and fix it, people, like, that's not great.
Well, it's self-serving and helpful, because if I'm able to continue, or if I'm quote unquote healthy, then I can still help others. So it's a both and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had talking animals, super strength, encyclopedic knowledge, and my number 2, I can't believe you haven't said this one yet, healing powers. We have the same number 2.
Why'd you pick it?
It was kind of a last minute pick. Like I thought of it towards like, we've talked about this for a few days now. And I've been just mulling it over. And this one, I think I selected today or very recently, and I
Mhm.
shot it up the top 5. Like I didn't just add it to number 5. Like I really like the idea of it. It's practical. It is very self-serving. I thought about, do I want to be able to heal others or heal myself? But I kind of came to the same, I'm just an individual in the just trying to survive. So I would want to be able to heal myself. And I can, that's a rationalization. Well, if I'm healthy, I can continue to help others in another capacity. Like, brr, brr, brr. Okay.
I meant it.
No,
Well,
but I don't. I know you did, and I know I don't.
oh, I know. But for the healing powers, then is it immediate? And then to where's the line between invincibility and healing powers for injury?
That's a really, really good question because it's borderline invincibility. Like, I'm trying to think of what it would take to kill me. Like, a wooden stake kills the vampire, and that's kind of about it. Like if you like, I would want regenerative powers like a starfish. Like if you lopped my arm off, it would just grow back. Like I would want that kind of superhuman stuff. So I think to kill me, it'd be zombie. Like you'd have to lop the head off, and then it's done. But if I'm still have my nervous system intact and my cranium attached, I can fix anything.
Yeah, I thought of mine more like probably Wolverine, where there's still a little bit of humanity in there, where there's definitely things that can kill him. I mean, ideally, it would be you would have to blow me up because then I get this together. But yeah, but I don't know. I feel like even with healing powers, if I lose an arm, I lose an arm. Like that's where I stopped it. Where it's like, yeah, if I get like shot, I can push the bullet out, but I still got shot.
All right, that's not as fun. Like I want to be able to starfish stuff because that would be again cool. People would pay to see that, and I'm trying to retire early. Okay, like give me, I want money.
Okay.
Okay, so interesting. We have time travel, telekinesis, teleportation, healing powers. All right, what's number 1?
Shape-shifting.
Okay.
Not to be confused by body modification. Shape-shifting specifically.
Okay, explain the difference and why you select shapeshifting.
Okay, so shape-shifting is a type of body modification, but it's not the only type. And so body modification can, an example, God, I'm nerding out. An example would Ant-Man shrinking down. So he's modifying his body, like elasticity, like those are things that my body can look different. When I'm talking about shape-shifting, I'm talking about like Mystique, where I can look like a physically different person. Like
Gotcha.
I don't necessarily need to be Elastigirl, but I do want to be like incognito as somebody else. I want to look like somebody else. That's
So
different.
so with shapeshifting, you cannot, well, I guess it doesn't matter what I'm about to ask you. Because if you were Elastigirl and nobody could hit over your block, that would be amazing. But you could just shapeshift yourself into Yao Ming and just, be a tree right there to block everything.
Yep.
Okay, that is pretty great.
Yeah.
I didn't put that down. I want to know, I'm trying to think. Shapeshifting might be better than talking to animals, but I really, because here's, you know what? Do what?
Oh, it is.
I don't know why you got to be like that. Like, I have feelings. All right, we're not actual superheroes.
Yes, I know.
Now that I think about it, I feel like talking to animals would be really, really fun for one day. Like I would want to be able to do it once, and then it would quickly lose its luster, while the others serve a bigger purpose.
Agreed.
But I'm gonna stick with it though. Like shapeshifting is cool.
Well, you are a special snowflake, and I respect all your thoughts and opinions about you.
Don't talk to me like I'm a student. I don't want that at all. Let me just live with my bad decisions.
Yes, I like shape shifting. I think that would be so fundamentally important in so many situations because you could be the most powerful person in the room at all time. Because I can look like the president, I can look like Thanos, I can look like, you know, somebody's right-hand man, and there's lots of espionage and spy abilities, like all of that to get background information that you would have never gotten otherwise. I just think that would be just so much more helpful.
Yeah, it's a more not efficient. It's a more functional invisibility.
Yes, that's what. And I was going back and forth. I was like, should I have invisibility on here? And I was like, this isn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need to. I can. Whoever I choose to look like will find a space in the room with the person that I want to either attack or seduce or be around, like whatever. I can find somebody who that they would want to be in the room with them. So I'm constantly covered. And she has a cool outfit. Full skin.
Yeah, no, that's a really strong pick. My number one for you was actually your number three. My number one is teleportation. For the reasons you gave. You know, when you have friends that live in North Carolina, California, Tennessee, Kentucky, Jacksonville, Hawaii, everywhere, like I can just do quick visits. I can see people. Like just the practical function of that in my just normal everyday life would be amazing. Let alone from, you know, to work and back, into the store and back, like you're talking about, like, because grocery shopping for sure sucks. You get stuck behind old people and they don't know what they're doing. But teleportation is so great. And I'm so glad you didn't have flying on your top five, because that, I don't like heights. So I can't imagine I would enjoy flying. Like I have stress dreams. I wouldn't say they're nightmares. You and I can get into that in a psychological sense if you want later on privately, but I have stress dreams where I'm like just floating in the air. And I get that feeling you get when you go over a bump and, you know, or you get a drop on the coaster, you're like, butterflies in your stomach or whatever. Like I get stress dreams like where I'm jumping off a roof and I'm like, like I'm floating through the neighborhood. So flying, I don't know that I would like, but teleportation would be amazing.
I was gonna ask, so, and I didn't even think about it, and we didn't talk about it. Can you teleport just yourself or other people or other things?
This is getting into the Harry Potter thing again.
Gotta be a limit.
Do what?
You gotta have a limit.
Yeah, I agree. Like, because when you apparate in Harry Potter, if somebody's got a hold of you, you can apparate together. I would say no. I would say to teleport, it could only be you. Like, I wouldn't even want, like, it couldn't be you a plus one. Like, I don't think wedding reception rules apply here. I think it's just you.
I don't know, man. Maybe
well, hold on. I can give you a caveat, because if you want to take your son to visit your family, then that's fine. But I don't have that. So I'm like, no, I'm just me. You can take, okay, you can only take your spawn. Like you can't take anybody, just any old person that's latched onto your arm. You can travel with your family.
All right. I'm thinking it would make more sense to just have just you too, but it's also very self-serving. Because I was like, there's no way that I can just hold the pyramids and just teleport with it. Like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, that's a good question, because I think you probably could you could teleport with inanimate objects, like whatever's in your pockets or whatever. But like you couldn't like hug your car and then teleport and then have your car with you.
Probably. Or even if you're just in your car, you just leave. Hopefully not while you're just like, screw this drive, and there's just an empty car.
And you teleport somewhere and you're in the sitting crouched position, like, oh, and you just fall over wherever you teleport to.
That's a pretty good question too. It's like, what are you physically doing when you teleport? Is the exact same.
That would be really funny. Okay. Did you have any honorable mentions or any superpowers that you think are super dumb?
I'm not gonna harp on the talking to animals. We'll not about that.
All right.
I think like you, like the flying, it just didn't seem necessary. And then I also think that super strength is nice, but mostly just for reasons of combat. And outside of that, it just seems like an inconvenience if it's something that you're usually just strong most of the time.
Yeah.
But the invisibility, I really did go back and forth with invisibility versus shape-shifting. And so and even thinking about like, well, what kind of body modification do I think is the best? And I'm like, no, definitely shape-shifting. I think better than Elastigirl.
How do you feel about telepathy?
Huh?
How do you feel about telepathy as a superpower?
Eh,
I don't know that I'd want to read people's minds.
I'm a therapist. Like for the most part, I get it. I don't necessarily love what my head sounds like all day long. I don't want to know yours. This is not what women want. Like, we're not doing that. And to your point of like talking to animals, I'm just thinking, so does it shut off? Does it stop? I mean, that's a whole nother. Is it constant?
Just let me find another number 5 for you. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Pyrokinesis. I can just light things on fire by like fire starter ability.
Again, is outside, and this reminds me of like laser eye, X-ray, like laser eyes or X-ray vision or something. Outside of combat, how does this serve you day to day? Is this something that I would want to have every single day, all day long, or is this something that tends to only be helpful in the moment?
My dream is to be able to just sit around a bonfire every single night for the rest of my life.
Same, 100%.
So that said, you make a good point. I don't know that it shouldn't be top 5 when it's pretty easy to light a fire.
Yeah.
But I'm looking here, so I'm kind of doing this on the fly for what's better than talking to animals. Immortality, I did not care for. Anything that was too godlike, I didn't care for.
What about enhanced senses?
No, I wouldn't want that.
You don't want to smell?
No, for sure not.
I can hear a pin drop.
Is this a superpower where you can you're like electromagnetic, like you can charge things with your body, and you can, like, it would be cool to shapeshift into tools.
Okay.
So instead of shapeshifting into a person, like I could just make my hand into a hammer, so I'm putting up posters, or I don't know.
That's a thing. Power.
I get clairvoyance. Like I wouldn't want to be able to know what happens in the future.
No. My mom said leave it.
Genius. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna stay with my talking animals. I can't find anything better, so we're gonna leave it at that.
I see absorbing powers. You want to do that?
Oh, like who is that from X-Men? Rain?
Still those powers.
Where you can absorb other people's powers. I guess I could go through the Marvel. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like if I come up with something, you're gonna poke holes in it. Like I'd love to be deadly accurate like Hawkeye. That'd be really cool. But you're like, okay, outside of an archery competition, where's it gonna serve you? I'm like, okay, I get it. I know.
I really like the other one that I saw that would probably be interesting would be the elemental or environmental control. So like storm.
Ooh, like Captain Planet? That would be pretty cool. Controlling water and air and fire. Like, yeah, that's a really good pick. I might pick that elemental control.
Yay! I helped.
All right, I'm done. Brittany, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I I'm not even going to ask you. We are going to do another one because I need you to keep taking me down some pegs. I love you very much, and we will talk to you soon. Okay.
We love you. Bye.